Sales Babble is sponsored by Wingman, your source for actionable sales intelligence. This is the Sales Babble Podcast, episode 418, How to Be Better, Unique, and Desirable. An interview with Thomas Ellis.
Welcome to Sales Babble, the podcast that shares selling secrets for non-sellers. And now your host, Pat Helmers.
Hello, Sales Babblers. This is Pat Helmers. And don't you know it? We live in a competitive time. And more than likely, there's another company out there that's looking for and serving customers just like yours. So, it begs the question, what can you do to be better, unique, and desirable? This week, we take a 1-week break from the Tao Te Ching of sales, and we babble with my good friend, Thomas Ellis. Thomas is the author of the just-published book, BUD, Better, Unique, and Desirable, The Sales Process That Gets Results. This book is a sales philosophy that can positively impact your sales and set you up for success. Now, if you're like me, you've probably been watching the NCAA basketball tournament the last few weeks, and it's been illuminating to see teams rise above expectations. What makes the difference? Great coaching with a solid feedback loop. Now, what goes for basketball also goes for sales teams. You may not know this, but our sponsor, Wingman, has a feature called Game Tapes, an organized playlist of winning sales strategies. Sales managers can review recorded calls and focus on specific keywords and score reps, just like coaches do during March Madness. Go to trywingman.com/salesbabble and get a free demo today. Wingman, it's your source for actionable sales intelligence. Welcome, Thomas. Are you ready to babble?
Yes, Patrick, I'm ready to babble.
I am super duper excited to have a guest back on. It's been a while here on Sales Babble. You got a new book out, and look, I have it in my hand right here. It's called
Thank you, sir.
BUD, Better, Unique, and Desirable, The Sales Process That Gets Results. I was flipping through the book, and I saw something familiar. You have something that you call the Bud Factor. What's that?
The Bud Factor. So the Bud Factor is, we were talking earlier about keeping sales very simple and, very simple process. In Bud, I've been doing this for a long time. It's called Better, Unique, and Desirable. And in the world that we live in now, where people have access to so much information and data, what's going to make them buy from you? And I've narrowed it down to 3 things, something called better, unique, and desirable.
I think we've talked about this before on this podcast, but why put it in a book? And why now?
So the reason why now, 2 years ago, the pandemic came along, and it was always in my journal to write a book. I've said that's one of the things I was going to do is write a book. And I finally sat down and started writing. Didn't have a title yet, but just writing, about prospecting, all the different sales strategies. And towards the end of the book, I polled people, and I remembered people remember me and buy this thing called Bud. Yeah. I would see people at workshops or networking events, and people go, "You're the Bud guy, the better, unique, and what's the D again for?" And I said, "That's my title. Something different, something simple."
And what does it mean though? I mean, better, unique, and desirable.
So it means let's do better, right? So better. What does better mean? Better means is that I need to be prepared, right? I need to have a mindset. I need to have the right mindset. I need to do preparation. I need to really understand my customer, my industry, my product, or my services. That'll make me better. Okay. But it all starts with mindset.
Oh,
And unique is just being your natural self. No, just be. We are all authentic. Just be yourself, right? We've all gone to training classes and where the trainer goes, you have to repeat this exactly this way. Don't deviate. You have to say this the exact same way. And so for a lot of people, that doesn't feel comfortable, doesn't feel natural. And to the prospect, it feels fake. So be your authentic self. And the desirable part is everybody wants to deal with people that are desirable, right? They want somebody that brings them knowledge, shares value, understands them, and is not really about making a sale. It's about helping them achieve their goals. That's what I call desirable.
why do you call it a factor?
Well, because it's a factor because you need to do all three.
Got it.
Right, right. You can't be better and not be desirable.
This sounds a lot like branding. Is it?
Well, it's becoming my brand.
That's certainly the case. That's certainly the case.
You know, yeah.
Another thing, like I picked up in the book, just to lead up on this whole notion of branding, is that you're a proponent of the unique selling position, right?
Yes.
Why don't you just tell us what that's about?
So the unique selling position is just something that it's your unique selling proposition. Why would the person buy something from you? What's unique about your product and services? And you can only figure that out, Pat, by really understanding what the customer needs are and what the customers are looking for and tying that into something that's unique to your product and service that maybe nobody else does or nobody else does as well as you. When you really understand that, number one, you're not the only person selling this product or service,
Right.
and so you need to be different. So what is unique about the experience that the customer's going to have with you? And it has to be that you really understand their business and you really understand their unique challenges because every company has challenges and many of them are unique to their particular industry or their particular clients. And so we need to really be engaged to understand what is unique, how can I position my product to offer them something that's a little bit different than what everybody else has.
See, I think this is a thing where a lot of people struggle, Thomas, is that we all talk about we need to provide value to the customers. And sometimes it's not so clear to me companies really understand who their customers are and why they really buy. I think sometimes they just kind of stumble into success. And then when they try to scale it up, they're not certain they don't know how to put out a position that really strikes home to customers. So my question really to you is, how can people understand what is the value that they bring to market, the value that customers are more than willing to pay for?
So first of all, you need to understand who your ideal clients are.
Ah,
Right? You need to understand who does this product serve, right? What vertical, what vertical, what industry, and so many times we get sales calls. I get them. You probably get them. Somebody calls you up and wants to offer you this service or product that's going to revolutionize your business in 60 days. And they don't understand anything about your business, but they're they're telling you that they can do this. And they don't understand what you do, how you do it, or anything else. They are not looking for, they're looking to just make a sale. That's all they're interested in. But when you dig down deep and you figure out, and I work with all my clients on figuring out who is your ideal client, who are the people that would get the maximum benefit out of your service, who would see the value of your products and services, and do they have the money to buy it?
Yeah. Right. Right.
The most important thing, right? Can they afford it?
Right. And these are all like,
And then
yeah. And these are all like these are all qualifying questions you should be asking, right?
these are questions that you have what I like to call in the discovery conversation, the first conversation that you have. You want to make it a conversation, but there are some key things that you need to get from the conversation. One, do they see that they have a problem that they want to fix today, right? Do they, do they see a problem and do they want to fix it today? Number two, are they willing to look outside of their organization to solve that problem? And number three, if they found a solution to solve the problem, when would they implement the solution?
These are great questions. Because if they answer no on any of these, you're just wasting your time with them, right?
Exactly. Now, you may want to ask some further questions, want to do more, but if it's no, 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 right, then why are we sitting, why are we still talking to this person? And then why are we following up? And what happens inevitably, Pat, is that most sales professionals don't get these questions answered, and they end up having another meeting, another follow up, or worse yet, the customer goes ghost and they disappear. And you got to wonder why they disappearing. Well, those three questions that we talked about early on, you never ask those up front. And so you don't, you, the answer was no if you had asked them, but you didn't ask them. So now you wasted time on a prospect that's never going to buy from you.
Something else I've found a struggle that other people have made is that I just completed a market research study on my my other podcast, and one person answered, and let me quote you on this. He said, or she said, "I have to be a shark instead of an honest businessman." That really hurt me when I read that. Like the only way to be successful in selling was to somehow be dishonest.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Pat, that is the stigma that the profession has, and this is why when I talk to a lot of younger salespeople or small business owners, the first thing we would kind of talk about is let's demystify this myth about salespeople. Okay, most salespeople are consultative type of salespeople. Most. But like any other profession, there are some good ones and there are some bad ones. But at its highest height, a sales professional is nothing more than somebody that's going to help you solve a problem to help you get better in your particular business. They're not forcing anything. If it doesn't fit, they're not going to force it.
I love that. So just to kind of continue on with this, if you're a business owner, executive, you probably got a set of skills that which is why you're in the business that you're in. But oftentimes it's not in selling. What's one thing business owners can do to improve their prospecting and appointment setting?
And that's an excellent question because many of the clients that I work with, like you just talked about, are great at operations and everything else, but not good at setting appointments or getting comfortable, right? So I, I need or they need to get comfortable with talking about their product and services. They need to be comfortable asking questions. More importantly, they need to understand how to ask questions, how to figure out, what is this, a prospect, or am I wasting my time? And so there's a set of questions that you have during your conversation. So I would say the number one thing they need to learn and be comfortable with is how to just have conversations.
Right. Not feel like they got to like schmooze them or cajole them or arm twist them, but just have a conversation about what's going on with your business, right? What problems are you experiencing? And try to see if the problems that they're experiencing are things that you have a solution for, right?
Exactly. It's all about, I teach people sales is nothing more than a bunch of great conversations with the same person over a period of time. That's all sales is.
Tell me about this book here. Where can people find it?
So this book you can find it on Amazon. And you can find it on my website, www.tellssalescoach.com.
And if people want to reach out to you, what's a great way of doing that?
So the best way for people to reach me is on LinkedIn.
Yep.
The second way is my email address is tellis@ewcconsultants.com. And if they're bold enough, they want to make a phone call, which I always laugh about because people are afraid to pick up the telephone, and I tell them that is your best resource. But my phone number is 301-343-0001.
Awesome. I'll make sure, put all that stuff in the show notes. People can find it. Easy peasy. Glad you're on LinkedIn. I think that's how you and I first met. How many times have you been on Sales Babble? It's probably been four.
I've been on Sales Babble probably I believe twice. I believe.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so this is your third time. Mm-hmm. I don't have many people been on here more than that.
I feel honored and special, and thank you, Patrick.
Well, I'm so excited for you. Terrific book, actionable. You walk through all the sales steps one by one. Easy peasy to read. Yeah, I highly recommend this to all the listeners to look into this. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for babbling here on Sales Babble.
Thank you, Pat. Look forward to talking to you again. Hopefully one day we can play golf somewhere.
Oh, well, I don't know. It's been pretty cold and rainy. I mean, we've got puddles and puddles. Hope you like to walk the course because there's no carts.
Oh, my goodness. We can. I don't think I can do that anymore.
Sure you can. You know, if you walk the course, it can add 2 years to your life. All right. Hey, take care.
Thank you, Pat. Be good.
So I got curious and I went back into the Sales Babble archives, and I'll be darned if Thomas hasn't been on the podcast 3 times already. Now this is his 4th. I'm really glad that he published that book, and I was more than happy to have him back on the podcast. To get a copy of the show notes and links to Thomas, you can find them at www.salesbabble.com. And while you're there, sign up for our email list, and you'll be able to download a free copy of the Tao Te Ching of Sales ebook. That's the book that's been the inspiration for these Sales Babble episodes. And you can use it for your daily inspiration with short one-page chapters on a balanced, non-pushy approach when selling. You can also find links to our sponsor, Wingman, your source for actionable sales intelligence. Go to trywingman.com/salesbabble and get a free demo today. Sales Babbler, did you find value in this episode? If so, if you could share it with a friend, just one person who's open to growing their selling skills, that would be awesome. I would so appreciate it. So with that said, that's all I've got for this week, folks. Until next Tuesday, take care and have a highly successful and a profitable selling day.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Babble podcast. Find us at www.salesbabble.com.
This is a production of Habanero Media.